soon as I opened the front door, I saw the attic hurry up and close behind it, like somebody had just made it up the ladder and closed it. I was like, oh, hell no. I'm going right back out
I
the
know
door.
that's
So
real.
I go back out the door, and we had a construction manager in the neighborhood that worked the area that would fill maintenance requests and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, look, I think somebody is in the property on Elm Drake. Can you go check it out? It looks like the shower has been used. I just came out of there, and it looks like somebody was going into the attic.
Uh-huh.
He went in the attic and found a man that had been living in the attic.
What? He was painting and scraping.
He
He had the window up.
fell. He fell out the window
The window fell.
and cut his head off.
Cut his head off, y'all. Decapitated his head. Crime scene, here I go. Y'all, we couldn't find his head because his body was up in the window, but his head was
It
somewhere.
bounced and rolled somewhere. Hey, you're tuned in to The Throne, and I'm your host, Matasha LaQuinn, the Queen Bee of Real Estate, and today we have a spooky treat. How corny, how corny am I? But today, just to be on the whole path of Halloween, since Halloween is coming up, we're going to be talking about some spooky stories, real estate horror stories. And to help me do this, I have one of my buddies, one of my family members, slash real estate agent, slash Lanaya Wheels in the building.
What's up, y'all? Ooh.
Really?
We so corny.
Corny. But
What's up, y'all?
yes, listen, we are thrilled to share what's been happening in the real estate world. And really soon it'll mark my 20-year anniversary of being in the real estate industry. Oh Lord, I feel so old. But with that, I've come across a lot of crazy things during all that time. So I thought, how about we uncover some of these spooky things that's been going on and talk about them, because a lot of these things can help you guys as you navigate home ownership or investing or just the real estate industry, period. Maybe you can take some tips and tricks from them. So let's get into it.
Let's go.
The first chapter of the horror story. This is stupid. The first chapter of our little horror stories is back when I used to work for a new home builder. And I was working in their model homes. So I was the one that, in a community when a builder was building new homes and people wanted to stop and look at the inventory that that the builder has, they would stop by. Well, this particular day, somebody stopped into the model home and wanted to see one of the inventory homes. And so I was always a little scary because you work in the model home by yourself.
Yep.
All day. It's quiet. The office is in the back. Sometimes you can't hear when people come in the door. But I also hated to go into the inventory homes around the neighborhood because sometimes we'd have to leave them unlocked. Especially if it was an open house day where people had to go and visit, or you can just say, let yourself in the property. So anyway, this particular day, a client wanted to see this house. So I said, okay, well, let's go. So I take them around the corner to look at this inventory home, and the wife kept on telling me, like, I hear something. And I was like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, I hear some scuffling upstairs. Do you not hear that? And I was like, no. So we make it upstairs, and it was an extra bathroom upstairs. So when we get upstairs, the shower looks like it had been used.
What?
Okay. Fresh water driplets. And this is a brand new home. Nobody should be living there. So I'm like, where are these droplets coming from? There was like an empty bottle of water squished up, and it was like a used bar of soap that had been left. So we were like, yeah, like let's get the hell out of here. So we get out of there, we run off, we go back to the model home. Fast forward, the next day, I had to go back to take pictures in the same house. Well, when I pull up, I felt like I saw a shadow in the window. So I'm just like, maybe I'm tripping, maybe I'm not. So I open the door, and when you look up the stairs, the attic door is there. As soon as I opened the front door, I saw the attic hurry up and close behind it, like somebody had just made it up the ladder and closed it. I was like, oh, hell no. I'm going right back out
I
the
know
door.
that's real.
So I go back out the door, and we had a construction manager in the neighborhood that worked the area that would fill maintenance requests and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, look, I think somebody is in the property on Elm Drake. You know, can you go check it out? It looks like the shower has been used. I just came out of there and it looks like somebody was going into the attic.
Uh-huh.
He went in the attic and found a man that had been living in the attic.
What?
Yes, which means the crazy thing, the entire time I had shown that property multiple times. So I'm like, how many times had I gone into that property? And I guess there's a window that faced the driveway.
Uh-huh.
So I'm wondering if he always watched out the window to
To see
see
who was
who was
coming.
coming and he'd
so he
take
go
off
hurry
and
up and-
scurry in the attic.
Right. What builder this was?
This was Legend Homes.
Ooh.
This was, sorry, not to put y'all on blast. And it's
Right.
nothing against the builder,
Right.
but that just shows how creepy and how scary things
Yeah,
can be.
definitely.
So, real estate agent safety, always be on guard.
Make sure you got your pew pew on you
The-
too.
Not the
Pew
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 pew.
pew pew.
You got a pew pew?
I do have a pew pew.
You know how to work it?
I sure do.
No, you don't.
I do.
What color is it?
Black.
I thought you was gonna be one of the ones that get it. See, I want one, but it's just because it's cute. The Tiffany blue one,
No, not for cute.
not for cute.
For safety.
So, do you actually go to the gun range and practice?
I have. I haven't gone this year, but I have.
See, I said I was going to. I just hadn't gotten around to it. But definitely it's necessary, especially for women these days.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing for me is because I have a smaller kid. I was always scared to kind of have one handy or visible or in my
Mhm.
purse, thinking that she may find it or get a hold of it or whatever. But in real estate, it's definitely necessary, especially when y'all showing these properties and walking in, not knowing what's in there.
That's right. Check your surroundings.
Check your surroundings.
I'm sorry, y'all. If I'm talking weird, I have a retainer in my mouth. So
Really?
Bear
Well,
with
we
me,
can't
y'all.
tell.
listen.
It look cute. I mean, not looks cute, but you just have like a little proper.
Yeah, it's
Touch
making me
boy.
like,
No,
I don't know, but okay
It's
then.
fine.
All right. then. I just had to put it out there.
Disclaimer.
Yes.
No worries, no worries. So, but that's the one, and that's all about safety, especially for real estate agents or if you are families going to look into these vacant houses. Always be safe.
Yeah, I ain't never experienced nothing like that.
Well,
at
or you
all.
may have and just didn't
And
know
just
it.
Didn't know that is true.
That's creepy. I don't like that.
I be ringing the doorbell when I go in, but I never go in by myself. I always make sure I have my clients with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
You think they're gonna save you?
I mean, I feel a little bit more safe. I
I'm
don't
just
think they'll
kidding.
save me, but I feel a little bit more
Right.
safe.
Because if you run, that just gives the intruder somebody else to chase after.
Right.
Cool. Let's hear one. What you got?
Well, let me see. Mine ain't no weird, nobody staying in a house or nothing. But what happened to me, this just happened yesterday, y'all. And y'all be trying to play games with these CPN numbers. But let me tell you, it does not work. I do not work with CPN numbers. Have you ever?
No. But first of all, let's explain what.
It's called CPN stands for Credit Protection Number.
And they are not legal.
Exactly. Some people will tell you that it is legal and legit, but it is not at all. So what they do, they create you a whole entire new identity, basically. A new social security card, a new ID, where you can go and get apartments, homes, cars, credit cards, whatever you're trying to
A
get.
jail sentence.
That part. Because I've known people that has went to jail and did time for it. So basically, this week I had a guy call me. He found me on TikTok. Y'all know I'm the infamous TikTok girl. Say, hey.
Boop, boop.
Anywho, he found me on TikTok and he was like, I saw these houses that you was posting. I'm interested. I don't need to go and look at them or nothing, but I just want to apply.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay then.
And see
cool.
that's red flag number one,
Uh-huh.
because you don't want to waste your time looking at them because you know you might get caught.
Exactly.
But anyway, go ahead.
So I was like, all right. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, cool. He don't want to go look at him. That's less I gotta do.
Right.
Right? So I sent him the link to apply. Lord, this retainer. But anyway, I sent him the link to apply. He applied. Now I got like a little lady that I connect,
Is that Jennifer?
Jennifer.
Okay,
Jennifer.
okay.
I called Jennifer. I'm like, hey Jennifer, they got this dude. My client pull this app for me, whatever, whatever. So she does that. And keep in mind, this just happened yesterday. And she couldn't tell me over the phone, but I went paid her a visit yesterday. Basically, his social security card was fake.
So, how did they find out? So, Jennifer works for the property management company,
Yes.
the owner. Do they have special software now?
Yep. They got special software. And she was able to tell by the font on the social security card. It to the naked eye, it looks legit.
I wonder what made her. I wonder if she noticed the social being off first, or if the software alerted her that
It
caused her to
didn't
look.
verify him when they
Mm,
put the social in.
mm.
That's what she told me. It didn't verify.
So, when you broke the news to him, did he try to play crazy?
No, all he did was text me. And it's coincidental. I was in front of Jennifer's face when he texted me. He said, I got declined. He said, thank you for your time. That was it.
So you never bust his bubble to let.
No.
Oh, baby, I would have let him
Well, I
know,
did send him a
baby.
text. I said, thank you for your business. I said, but I don't work with fraudulent documents. And he never replied
Never
back.
responded, baby. I would have bust his bubble so hard. I got declined. I know why you got declined, sir. Cause you're lying.
Cause you're
and
lying.
you're scamming.
So when y'all be going up trying to make these check stubs, these fake socials, getting with people that do CPNs and all of that, at the end of the day, they can't find out.
Blue. Corn.
Right?
Okay.
So lame.
I know, right? Bloop, bloop. So listen. Story number 2. What is the lesson, I guess? Do stuff the right way. If your credit jacked up,
Get it fixed.
Get it fixed. If you have evictions, whatever the case, just be honest. There's some times where the landlord will look over that if you're willing to maybe pay a double deposit,
Right.
or maybe you have extra money in the bank and you can pay 6 months of rent in advance, or the whole lease term in advance, to show that, hey, I'm good for it. I have skin in the game. I'm gonna put, I'll pay the whole lease term. There's all kind of ways that we can help you. So stop lying. All right, let me see which one I'm gonna do. Which one I'm gonna do? I got one. Maybe not. Let me. I got one. This lady. Okay, this is a horror story. Kind of horror-ish. Is horror-ish a word?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well it is today. This had to be like. This is a long time ago. The reason why I know it had to be a long time ago is because this particular client made me cry.
Ooh.
And it's very rare. This had to be back when I was a beginner and didn't really know any better, for somebody that had their own mess going on to make me cry. I think, let's see, if I was licensed in 2003, this was probably like 2007. So at this point, I was probably licensed for like 4 years or so. And I think, first of all, the reason why I was crying is because I took it really serious back then. Not that I don't take it serious now,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the difference is that back then I didn't realize that people make mistakes and they have to be held accountable for their own mistakes, and you can't help everybody. You can't fix everybody.
Right.
And that's where I was back then. I was like, oh, I could fix it. I could get it done. Let me help you. I can get your family in a house. Like, I was just really passionate about home ownership and helping people. And there's a fine line between helping people and them blaming you for their past mistakes. And so now I know that, hey, I can't help everybody. If your credit score on life support, you need to go get it fixed and come back. I'm not going to attempt to just help everybody. But this particular person, this was back when people could get financed 100%, no money down, with a 580 credit score.
The good old days.
Baby, listen, matter of fact, we were also, in some instances, some lenders were not even requiring documentation.
Or they would have a field day with that right now.
Girl, no W
Ooh,
two.
baby.
It was no income doc loan. That's a whole nother story. So we was tossing them left and right, baby. Pull them up. Long as you got a 580, even if you were at a 579, I knew that I could get you at least 1 or 2 extra points by the time it was, ready to go to, you were ready to go to closing. So anyway, fast forward, got this lady in. She was literally at a 580 credit score. That means she had no room to breathe and mess up nothing. I gave her the game. Hey, don't do this, don't do that, don't go apply for new credit, don't go try to buy a car, don't do nothing until you buy this house. What you think she did?
She went and bought furniture and did all of that.
Hell yeah. She went and
Hard-headed.
financed damn near a whole house full of furniture. And people don't realize when they do this, it alerts the lender that new credit has been opened.
Yes.
So fast forward, I'm in the drive-thru. It had to be about 10 o'clock at night. I'm in the drive-thru at McDonald's getting TT some nuggets. This how you know it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because my oldest daughter, she's 20 now, but this was back. She had to be like, I don't know, 4 or 5. So I'm in the drive-thru 10 o'clock getting her some nuggets. I get a phone call. And this is another thing that's changed. I don't answer my phone at 10 o'clock no more that late. Fucking lying. I have to set boundaries. But anyway, so I answer the phone, but I'm thinking something's wrong. I answer the phone. I said, hello? Tasha. Going off. I said, hello? Yes. You got me messed up. You lied to us from the beginning, got us going through all of this. Now we ain't and I'm like, wait, hold on a second. We not even approved no more. I just got a message saying that we can't no longer buy the house, and you lied and you got us going through all of this for nothing. I said, whoa, because this is my first time hearing about any of it. And I said, well, back up. Tell me what happened. Well, I got a message from the loan officer telling me that my score dropped to a 520. And I said, your score dropped to a 520? I said, why would it drop? Well, nobody told me. I went and got some furniture. And I said, you went and got furniture? I said, you were not supposed to do that. We told you not to open up any new credit accounts, not to allow anybody else to pull your credit until you closed on the house. Well, she went off, cussed me out, told me how I would never succeed as a real estate agent. Like, she went there. And I guess I was so upset because I never do anything intentionally to hurt anybody,
Right.
But I was being accused of lying or not delivering on our word or not being able to close or deliver on promises that were made. And I'm like, ma'am, after I hung up the phone, I said, wait a damn minute. How was that my fault? But needless to say, yeah, that was a horror story for me. It was the first time a client ever made me cry, and it damn sure was the last time. But her score dropped from a 580 to a 520 in one day because she went and got finance furniture and blamed it on me. Now,
baby, y'all gotta take accountability.
Thank you. Everything is not somebody else's fault.
No.
It's not fair.
And sometimes people listen to what they want to hear.
That part.
Instead of listening to understand. You know what I'm saying? But let me think, do I have one? Nobody ain't never make me cry. And I've been a realtor for 5 years. Hey, come on, 5 years.
See, you just be in there a little while.
I know,
longer.
a little while longer.
Just a little while longer, but I'm sure one will pop up. What about
my deal I just fell
the interest
through.
rate killed it?
No,
the 401k killed
401k. So y'all, I had a deal. I was supposed to close October 13th, and I'm superstitious because
was that a
October
Friday?
13th was Friday the 13th. We were supposed to have our walkthrough on the 10th, and then our closing on the 13th. Well, the week prior to that, the builder is sending out, all the information and everything on our walkthrough times and all of this. Now, keep in mind, My client ain't never tell me nothing about her 401k. She just told me she was going to get the money from 401k, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she responds back to the email from the builder, all of us together on the email, and she said, I'm not going to be able to close no longer. I'm no longer interested
Oh,
in purchasing,
but without the explanation.
but without an explanation. I'm looking at my email. I'm saying,
What happened?
thinking I'm about to give me some coins, right? Or I call her. I said, well, what's going on? I hadn't heard from you. I didn't know, that it was an issue. She said that she needed 12 grand to close. And she said her 401k only allowed her to get 6 grand out.
Mm.
And she had no way of getting the other 6 grand. And usually, like we had the conversation, given a BTSA, and the BTSA, y'all, in case y'all don't know, is basically like a bonus for realtors, So sometimes if a builder is giving a BTSA to us on top of our commission, I like to help my clients so much, I will give some of my BTSA to my client to help them with their closing. Right? But that wasn't a situation with this particular builder. So I couldn't do anything to help her. So, of course, the deal fell through. And
Was she a first-time home buyer?
She was.
Oh, that's the worst part, because when things like that happen with them, they get so discouraged.
Right. So she told me that she's going to, wait till next year, and that y'all,
No, what is happening?
I had to take this retainer because I feel like I'm talking crazy.
Wait a minute, I'm over here sneezing. She over here taking a retainer out. At least it wasn't teeth. At least your teeth.
Right.
Listen, we can't do this together.
Okay. So basically, she said that she's gonna wait till next year because now she knows that she just cannot depend solely on her 401k, and she has to have some of her own money saved.
That part, technically, 401k is your own money. That is what would piss me off.
These jobs,
like, this is a 401k. This is technically my money in there, but they can dictate when you can withdraw, how much you can, if there's a penalty or not. And it's like, this is my money.
Yep.
And it's crazy for her to have to say, well, I'll just wait until I can save more of my own money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this is your money, But at the end of the day, yeah, that sucks. But the good thing is that she's remained encouraged and she hasn't decided to give up totally.
Yep. She was just like, I'm going to just re-sign my lease and I'll reach out to you next year. And y'all know I'm going to call her, follow up, make sure she good. And as time approaches, then we'll be closing next year.
Yeah. Come on. Okay.
Let's go.
All right. Let me see what I have. Ooh. I gotta. Now this one is spooky for real.
Oh, no.
As in horror. As in like.
Cause that first one you said was scary to me. Like,
yeah,
not knowing somebody was in that house.
When the construction manager came to the model and was like, Tasha, I found a man in the attic. The hair on my arms literally stood up. It was really freaky.
Mm-hmm.
This one involves a little bit of blood and gore, actually.
Ooh.
Okay. So, y'all, again, because I've been doing this for so long, I've had my hands in all kind of stuff. So back when I was a real estate asset manager, and an asset manager is when you manage foreclosure properties for different banks.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say Bank of America, they have 100 properties that they all have non-performing assets, meaning the families are no longer paying the mortgage. And so they have to assign it to an asset manager that will basically get the family evicted, do the foreclosure process, get the house emptied out, decide if it needs to be painted or are we going to sell it as is? All that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to price it for? And these properties are all over. They can be in New Jersey, Chicago, Texas. It doesn't matter. So there's basically a portfolio of properties that come in, and I have to monitor and manage each one by one, depending on the situation. So this particular house, we always got a handful of them where when we send a field agent out there, our first step whenever we get an assignment was to have it checked for occupancy. Has the family already vacated the property, or are they still occupying the property? If the property's still occupied, that means we have to go through the foreclosure process.
Okay.
If it's vacant, then we're one step closer to being able to relist it and just get it put on the market. So in this particular one, we had already identified that the house was occupied. We had already known that the family had not vacated, and we had a writ with the constable for an eviction day, where the constable actually shows up with the crew to put the family out. So here's eviction day. Constable's at the property. Next thing you know, we're getting a phone call like, hey, we're at the property. We know somebody's here. Nobody's opening the door. The constable is here to evict. What should we do? So we were like, well, I don't know, because we got to get access to the property. So do whatever you feel you need to do. So on the side of the house, there was a window. So one of the field agents that was there for the make ready crew tested one of the windows, and the window was unlocked. So he says, well, there's an unlocked window. Should we try to go through it? Well, being that the constable was there, the constable told him yes. He goes through the window, looks around the house, and he finds the husband had committed a homicide-suicide. He had killed his wife and killed himself inside of the home.
Oh, Lord.
And he left a note stating why, and it was basically because the foreclosure. He was embarrassed. He didn't know how to explain to the neighbors and family members, his mother-in-law, as to why they had to move, and that he was facing financial difficulty. And because of that, he knew that it was eviction day. He killed himself and killed his wife in the house.
How long they had been in there for?
I don't know that part. Probably, I would imagine a few years. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, that freaked me out, because they called back, because it's like, okay, call us back, let us know what's going on. And so when they called back and told us what they had found, I just kind of sat there in silence for like the next 30 minutes.
Oh,
the next 30 minutes. And so then my job from there, obviously in that room, now it becomes a whole different make ready and clean up scene. And then depending on the state and stuff like that, you have to disclose certain facts. And so it just takes you to this whole drawn out process. But, you know, I think the key there was just a wake up call to say, like, you never know what people are going through.
That is true.
Their mental state.
Yeah.
And it can be the smallest thing that will send somebody off. And what I need people to realize is that, like, trouble don't last always. You know, you have to get comfortable with riding this wave of life and taking what comes with that. You're not going to win all the time. You have some wins and some losses, but some
highs, some lows,
some highs, some
ups, some downs.
Yeah.
It's life.
It's life. So you got to take that and know this is what comes with life. Joy comes in the morning. Amen. Might not be tomorrow morning, maybe
but it's gonna be a morning.
But it's gonna be a morning.
It's gonna be
a
morning.
And so that was just really troubling to know there are people that can't see past right now. They can't see past the trouble right now. And so if anybody's out there and, you know, you're facing foreclosure, financial difficulties, and things that you may deem to be embarrassing, and, you know, you're thinking people are going to judge you for it and you don't know how to bounce back from it, taking your own life is not the answer
at all. No.
Not the answer. I couldn't imagine just because of, you know, your mortgage was past due or somebody was going to come and evict you out of your home, you thought the only way out was to kill yourself.
And to me, it was so selfish, because if that's something he wanted to do, He should have done it to himself. Why take your wife?
Leave me
too?
out of it, buddy.
She probably wasn't even ready to go. You know, like
Thank you.
like how
Listen.
you do that?
I'm
People-
saying, and I don't know. I don't remember the backstory. I don't remember
Yeah.
if they had kids and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But like you said, that's like this is terrible. It's like the homeless people on the corner. They're
Mhm.
homeless, and then they got the 2 dogs on the corner with them. Like, let me go, man.
Yes. Why you?
You got me on this leash.
It's crazy.
Yes, indeed.
I don't think I have another horror story, but I do have something similar that's kind of gory, but it's not really real estate related.
It's okay.
All right then. So back in the day, y'all, when I was in New Orleans, I used to work for NOPD, which is New Orleans Police Department.
I didn't know that.
Girl, yes.
What you was doing? Oh,
A New
Lord.
Orleans crime scene technician.
Were you really? Wait a damn minute. Wait a damn minute. How come I never knew this?
Yeah. I dealt with dead bodies, death all day.
When I was in PV, my major was criminal justice. That's one of the things I wanted to do.
Girl. I
What
did
else?
this in
Listen.
2002.
We're gonna have to have a conversation because I don't know you like I thought I did. I don't know.
Okay, so I had then just had my first son in 01, and I wanted to get a stable job, kind of like with
Mhm.
benefits, work for the city.
Do you have to have a degree for that?
No, I didn't. I was like 22, 23 years old.
Get out of here. Okay,
Girl,
okay, continue.
let me tell you. So I applied for the job, and they took, city jobs, they take a little time before they call you. So it probably was like about 3-4 months before they called me. So boom, they called me, and I go. They place you in this room, right? It's like a room like this, but it's gory. It's blood, it's brains, but it's fake.
Because they want to see if you
'Cause
can
they wanna
handle.
see if you can stomach, you can digest it. They have TV screens with like decapitated bodies, autopsies, all kind of stuff like this.
Mhm.
So I was like, yeah, I mean, my stomach didn't get upset,
Mhm.
basically. So fast forward, I passed, you take a test, all of this stuff. They put me on the 11 to 7 shift overnight, right? Everybody know my city toe up, but I love it. It's toxic, but I love it. But crime, that's when crime was happening a lot. Overnight,
Mhm,
murders,
mhm.
whatever. So crime scenes technicians, we got to go out on the scene once the police, the coroners, all of that there. We got to do fingerprints of the deceased, take
What?
pictures. Girl, I had to touch the dead bodies.
I never knew this. That's why you crazy. Okay, go ahead.
Crazy. Local. So, anywho, this particular one, y'all. Oh my God, I'll never forget. I had nightmares about this one.
Mm.
She was a young girl, probably at my age at that time. Probably
Wow.
about, she was no more than 25.
Mhm.
About your complexion.
Mhm.
And her boyfriend killed her. He stabbed her 56 times. Stabbed her in her face.
Oh my gosh.
Her nose, her neck,
Oh,
her head.
Jesus.
Like every part of her body you could think of. And she didn't want to be with him no more. That was the story, her family.
Wow.
And I remember having to take a picture of her. I remember having to take her hands and, the black stuff that they put on your fingers to
And I'm assuming she had stab wounds in her hands.
everywhere. And this is the part. She had been deceased for a while. So rigor mortis hadn't set in.
And that's when you're stiff?
That's when you stiff. You got maggots coming out of you. You got flies flying all around you. You smell.
Jesus. This is more than what I bargained for.
I know. That's why I said it's not real estate related.
That's
But
okay.
it's gory.
Yes.
And I also, what they used to tell us to do is we had to put Vicks Vapor Rub under our nose. They like supplied us with that because it would take away the stint of that in the smell
So that you can be able
so that you can
to.
be able to complete your
Wow.
job without regurgitating or whatever like that. So girl, I didn't seen some stuff. I didn't seen another one.
What you got? Another crime scene one?
Girl, I got so many stories with that.
So wait a minute. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Which one? Which one?
I don't know. I'm just.
Yeah, we had to after we don't put them in a bag or nothing, the body bag.
You just do all like the
We
DNA
just
type
do the
stuff.
DNA, take the pictures, and then I don't know how they're doing it now or how different cities are doing it, but back then they had the guys that were incarcerated, like the criminals, they had to come out and take. They'll be like on not truancy. What's they when they on good behavior,
community
when they
service.
almost about to get out?
Oh, I don't
I
know
forgot what they
called.
call them, but they would be the ones to come out and put them in a bag and put them in the back of the coroner's van and take them to the
Wow.
morgue and stuff like that. But they had this other one, y'all. This was insane to me. So they was rehabbing a house, so it got a little bit of real estate.
Little bit.
little bit. Paquito. So
Did you just say Paquito?
right, just a little
Picante sauce.
So they was rehabbing a house in the French Quarters, right? On Royal Street, right off of Bourbon, all of this stuff, right? So anyway, they was rehabbing this big old beautiful house. And it was a historic home in New Orleans. And the guy, he was painting and, doing all of this stuff. So, in them old homes, they have these big old windows, like ceiling
like the cathedral
windows.
type.
Yes,
Yeah.
ceiling the floor windows. You could still raise them up and walk out like to like the terrace or something and look over, like the little French Quarters. Anywho, he was painting and scraping.
He fell.
He had the window up.
He fell out the window?
The window fell.
And cut his head off.
Cut his head off, y'all. Decapitated his head.
Wow.
So, crime scene, here I go. And y'all, we couldn't find his head because his body was up in the window, but his head was
bounced and rolled somewhere.
His head had then bounced and rolled somewhere like in a garden because it was like the garden below.
That's not funny.
No, girl.
That's terrible.
It was, I remember him being a Hispanic guy. I remember that. And so when we finally did, I was the one to locate his head, of course.
Wow.
And it had then rolled like in the corner in bushes. And
so it had stuff stuck to it.
See, no. I'm not laughing. So, anywho.
Wait. Okay, I'm sorry.
You finished? Because I'm not. Nope.
I mean, I'm just imagining.
I'm just seeing God looking at me right now like, tighten up.
I'm sorry, Lord.
So, like I was saying, I found his head and we had to take his head and set it up straight. Like,
did you have to pick the leaves and the dirt off of it in order to take the picture?
I ain't do all of that. No, I just remember setting his head up and I guess when his head hit the concrete and all of this stuff, he lost a lot of his teeth.
Oh,
because they had teeth.
This is terrible.
They had teeth, and he bit some of his tongue was off.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah, it was crazy. But you be amazed. I'm not gonna say amazed, but even though that was very traumatic, it was no blood.
No,
it was just a clean slate across his neck. It was no blood. Like it was
Wow.
little droplets of blood in on the ground, but it wasn't like gory. Like
Mm-hmm.
you'd be like, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like that. His
Wow.
eyes were closed partially, and his mouth was open a little bit. That's how we knew some of his tongue was off.
Do you think it's because he was going, like he was screaming on the way down? Or
I really,
this is terrible. Why did we pick this topic? This
I don't know. I really can't say because I would imagine soon as something slices you across the neck,
you
you
say,
ain't.
no,
It's like it probably would be like a clean
like
slate. You ain't
immediate.
feeling. You ain't feeling it.
Wow.
So I don't know, but
Mm.
yeah, that was traumatic. And the one I told you, I used to have nightmares about the young
The
lady because
lady.
she was close to my age, and
Mm-hmm. It made it real that
it
this
made
can
it
happen to
real.
anybody.
Yeah. Her, I had nightmares about her, and then another one I had nightmares about was this lady. She was texting and driving, and
They had text messages back
did they? You know what? No. But she was doing something on her phone, I remember,
then?
because
Okay.
the pictures, her phone was all wrapped up inside of her brain. Because she had an accident. I don't know if she was trying to dial someone out or something. And back
Wow.
then you stuck your charge in your cigarette lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Back then it's like 2002, 2003. And you stuck your car in your cigarette lighter to charge it, your phone. And I think she was dialing, and she lost control of her car. She was driving a green Ford Explorer, y'all. Green Ford Explorer. I don't even know if they still make them. But y'all know that's like a little SUV. But that truck was a hatchback, like a pickup truck by the time
Oh,
it
like it
came
take
to
the whole.
resting.
Wow.
The whole top was gone. And she went out the passenger side of the vehicle.
And the
And
phone
the
was.
phone, I guess she had the phone in her hand. I guess as she was going out the window, I don't know. This is how I'm interpreting, looking at
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the pictures. And as because we gotta take pictures and stuff. And the phone in her hand, and it split her. My grandma said, never mark yourself. But it split her head in half, like down the middle, from the middle of her forehead to her nose. Her brain was just opened up and exposed. And it had her cell phone was tangled all in it, like the charger and stuff. So y'all, I be real about this driving. We got tech, it's texting now, but all that texting and driving and trying to do all of this on the phone, when you're on your phone, it's real. When y'all
Yeah.
be seeing my TikToks and my reels, I be at stopping points. Or sometimes if I'm recording,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have no cars or nothing around me, but I'm driving, but I'm holding my phone like this,
Mm-hmm.
not
Well, and
really
usually you're in a
looking.
neighborhood,
Yeah.
taking inventory of houses that are
Right,
up. So
right.
it's a slow street,
Yeah.
or whatever.
But
That's crazy.
it's crazy.
So I don't know. My story is not going to compare to heads rolling around in the grass, but
Oh, Lord.
but I do have one where if this was my man that I'm about to tell y'all about, his head would have been rolling in the grass. Let me tell y'all.
Ooh.
I have a good spooky horror story, real estate related, about a man that should have got his head knocked off by his wife.
Oh.
So I'll never forget this particular couple. They were excited about buying their first house.
Okay.
So they so back then I was hands on a whole lot. Like the loan office I worked with back in the day, a lot of times we worked so good together and was slanging applications so fast. I had her applications in my office.
Dang.
Like this was the time when computers didn't exist. They had to fill out paper applications. And I kept stacks of her applications in my office so that when I met with them for their consultation and they were ready to go, I can have them fill out my loan officer's application and I'd send it through.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I would do. I used to have consultations back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
So Couple came in. We're in the conference room. They're like, yeah, let's go. We're ready. Had them fill out the application. I go and fax it. I didn't email the application.
Facts. Throwback.
I go and fax the application to the loan officer.
So
So
wait. Let me ask you this. So when you fax and you had to fax the application, they check stuff, they stuff.
everything had to get faxed. It was terrible. But back then, that's all we knew.
That's
so
all
it
you
wasn't
knew.
terrible.
So it was the norm. It didn't feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
weird or nothing.
It was the norm. So I send in their loan application. The loan officer calls me back and she's like, Tasha, so the credit scores are good. But and mind you, when the loan officer called me back, I'm back in the conference room in front of the client, ready to deliver whatever news is there.
Right.
So send in the loan application. The loan officer calls me back. Hey, Tasha, I got an update on your client's application. I'm like, what's up? Well, the credit is fine. I'm like, okay. Well, we have a problem with the debt to income ratio because there's he has too many cars. And I'm like, okay, well, is there one that he can pay off? And the client is asking me, well, what is she saying? I said, well, she's trying to see how she can get it done because the problem is your husband has too many cars on his credit. And she's looking like, well, what's considered too many? And I asked the loan officer, I said, well, how many do they have? Well, there's a total of 3. And I said, she says y'all have 3? And the wife is looking like, you should only have 2. Mine and your truck. What is the third one for? So the loan officer says, well, the third one, it shows that it's a joint account. I'm not sure. It doesn't show the make or model, but it's for this amount. And it's like $670 a month. Right at that moment, I said it's $670 a month. So the guy is looking like, don't say nothing else. And I'm like, well, she said it's a joint account. And she looking like, joint account? Who you got a joint account with?
You just saying it all. I'm weak.
Long story short, the joint account for the automobile that was showing up on his credit was a car that he had gotten for his baby mama. And the wife didn't know about it. But they found out while sitting in there with me that he went behind his wife's back and opened up a new auto loan for his baby mama. And it was a Mercedes at that.
Ooh.
And the wife didn't even have a Mercedes.
That's what I was about to ask. Did she have one?
Nope. And I'm sitting there looking back and forth from them to her, like, what you gonna do?
Did they ever close?
Hell no. I don't even know if they stayed married after that. She went off and she was giving him the death stare, like
it's on.
And he was trying to explain and whoop, 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 and she didn't want to hear none of it. And she just said, thank you for your time. And she looked at him and said, let's go.
9 times out of 10, he was still, pat-patting with his baby mama.
Listen. And I was like, okay. So, fellas and ladies, if you're doing dirt, just know that in the world of real estate, when we run your credit application, it tells us a whole lot of stuff. So, can't hide too much. So, do right. I got one more.
Okay.
One more, and then we'll close out.
Well, that's juicy.
It's not really a horror story. It kind of is, but it's kind of funny. I've never ran into this ever again since then. But I had a client, first-time home buyers, found a big, beautiful house, cul-de-sac, pool in the backyard. Like, this was a really nice house. And we get close to closing. Closing was like 2 days away. They were short on the money that they needed to come to closing with. Y'all. And I'm laughing because I'm remembering all. It was so funny. The husband calls me panicking like, T, what we going to do? I got to get my family this house. Because by this time, the kid's in love with the house. The wife is in love with the house. He's like, I'm short. I need some money. I don't know how we're going to figure out. So I'm on the phone brainstorming, trying to help him figure out how to come up with the down payment money. I didn't come up with nothing. So finally he said, you know what? I'm going to get it figured out. I'm going to call you tomorrow. Literally the next day, which was the day before closing, he called me and he said, T, I got it. And I said, well, how'd you get the money? Number one, he went and donated blood, but that wasn't the bad part. I'm like, oh, okay, great. That was resourceful.
Right.
That was creative. Good job. And then once he donated blood, he was still short. So he went and donated sperm.
By any means necessary.
By any means. And I was just holding the phone with my mouth open with a little smile on my face, like, I'm glad you got it figured out. Let's go. And we went to closing, and I will never forget that. He was like, by any means necessary, my family is getting this house. And I didn't even know they paid for sperm.
Me either.
I know now. So I always kept it in the back pocket. I'm like, shoot, depending on how desperate somebody is, they need some help coming up with some down payment money. I can tell them.
Go in that room, get you a magazine.
Cut.
And call Palmer.
Security. Get her out of
here.
here.
This is so funny.
Yes. So listen, where there's a will, there's a way. But this has been fun. I know it's a little unconventional for what we're usually talking about, but we wanted to do something fun. Since we're approaching the spooky holiday season and don't really celebrate Halloween, but I thought it was cute.
And you know who I'm scared of to this day?
Who? Michael Myers. Why you whispering like he gonna hear you?
I don't know.
I don't like the fact,
almost like if I say his name or something, he gonna appear. I am so terrified of this man.
Why? Is it the mask and the hair?
I think it's the mask, and I'm talking about the old Michael Myers, like the original, not these little new costumes.
The tall, big one, where you be running and he just be standing right there and he on you that quick. Like that music, like. Yeah.
Man.
Who do I'm trying to think. Did I have somebody that was really I was creeped out by?
I never was scared of Freddy Krueger.
No.
And you would think because he come in your dreams.
Ugh, that's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. I don't have anyone that I was just really. Oh yes, I do.
Who? It?
Yes. How did you know?
Because my son is scared of it to this
that
day.
That damn clown.
I remember one time, he probably was about 12 or 13. And he had just got his first laptop.
Makai?
Yeah, Makai. And girl, I took and downloaded it as his screensaver.
Well, why the hell? What kind of parent are you? What made you think that was
I don't know, because I knew he was scared. That boy slept in a room with me in, his pole. Slept in a room with us for like 2 nights straight. He was terrified.
You're wrong for that.
Scared of it.
I don't like that at all, but okay. Well,
this is fun.
I know. We have to figure out what we're going to talk about next time, what people might want to hear. But, all right. Well, we're closing out of here. And until next time, we will see you later. I'm your host, Matasha LaQuinn, the queen bee of real estate, and you've been tuned in to The Throne. Bye-bye.
Bye.